Hello, friends. Call me Atheist here. Thanks for tuning in today. I've got a special guest with me today. He's an atheist like me, and his name is Oleg. I will let him introduce to you. Oleg, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me and thanks for the call. Well, my name is Oleg. I work in animation and as a writer, and this is basically what I do for the living. And in my spare time, I try to write atheist content and use Twitter for showing it to people.
Yes, and talking about Twitter, me and Oleg met on Twitter, and his way of writing things is intellectual at the same time because he kind of wants you to think what he's writing. If I'm not misrepresenting you, you don't like to put things in simple order. You want others to listen to me and what do you get out of it? Um, so that's good. I like intellectual people because I'm not much of an intellect myself. So I appreciate when other people are more intellectual than I am. But the topic that we want to discuss, let's get to it because I'm so excited to have you here, Oleg. Uh, I want to talk about atheism for obvious reasons, because we both are atheists, and my story is different to yours. But I would really like to know, because you were an ex-Christian, yeah?
Yeah, I used to study with Jehovah Witness, and they're technically Christians.
Yes, that's a weird one. When you say technically a Christian, because I've been knocked on the door by Jehovah's Witness, and at that time I didn't even know what a Jehovah's Witness were. And so, yeah, really have very minimal knowledge. How are they technically Christians just because they believe in Bible? Is that?
Yeah, pretty much if you accept Jesus, you are a Christian,
Mhm.
but they don't make or take decisions that are generally applied to all Christians. They have many beliefs or ideas that are only, let's say, believed or accepted by Jehovah Witness themselves only.
Okay, and when you were a Jehovah's Witness, were you there because since birth you've been told about it and you were by default Jehovah's Witness?
Well, that happened when I was maybe in the third or fourth grade at school. I was too young to be a skeptic, or maybe someone was, but I was definitely not. And I was introduced to this belief by my parents
Mhm.
and my relatives. I have many relatives who are Jehovah Witnesses,
Yeah.
and when you're a child, that's something that you just accept. You're not asking like why should I believe that, why is that true.
Hmm.
So that belief system hold up when I was up to when I was a teenager, and somehow when it ended up with proposal, I should go get baptized,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, I should go do missionary work. I should knock in the doors, and somehow this restrained me from belief. I was still believing,
Mhm.
but I kind of faded more and more into not going, not making people uncomfortable. For me, it was like just too much, you know. And when I
Okay.
was 20,
Mhm.
that I kind of got back into religion. I felt like life is a little bit harder than I expected, and the people I get and understand are at Jehovah Witness, and
Okay.
apostates, people who they are not Jehovah Witness. They
Hmm.
were kind of hard for me, something
Okay.
that I could not understand, not only morally but on many other levels. And I gave a second try.
Okay. That's cool. So, you decided to move away and then came back to being a JW, if that's okay, if I can call that. You mentioned about the missionary things. Um, do you want to explain to my viewers, like, what sort of a missionary things? Have you been to any of the mission or?
No, I was, as I said, I was repulsive to these things. Many of my friends even did not know that I was a Jehovah Witness.
Oh,
For
wow.
me, back then, it was I was a child and I already knew how people were talking to Jehovah Witness, and that felt like a reason to get bullied. So I never told what are my beliefs, especially when I was a teenager. I used to do skateboarding, and none of
Hmm.
my skateboarding peers knew that I was in secretly thinking about the moral values of Jesus, or why I was
Yeah.
not sweating, or why I was not drinking alcohol, or getting tattoos with my peers. I was only interested in creating tricks. I really loved that, but I felt like this hobby
Hmm.
is a big threat to my belief.
Okay. No, that's cool. Just on the side topic, you mentioned some Christians might get bullied. Uh, it doesn't matter which religion you're from. I am strongly against bullying. It doesn't matter if you're a JW, Christian, Mormon, whoever. If somebody is bullying you because you've got this certain religion, it's not good. I just wanna let it out there. Um, which sort of missions does JW do?
Um, well, as far as I know and I remember, and maybe it's even better to say right now what they are doing.
Mhm.
If I'm from Moldova,
Okay, cool.
Republic of Moldova. It's Eastern Europe, and it's really close to Ukrainian. And as you know, there is war like
Yeah.
100 kilometers from my hometown. You
Wow.
actually at night can hear the explosions, and you can actually see Jehovah Witness at the borders with
Okay.
their vests and logos, and they
Mhm.
actually approach people and they offer help and spiritual help and books, and maybe, I'm not sure, maybe they give tents or something more, maybe food.
Mhm.
When I'm sort of how to say, a refugee technically.
Okay.
I uh, with my family just got into the nearby country just to feel safe, and
Okay.
we saw many Jehovah Witnesses and maybe other religions, but other religions don't put a giant sign like, look, if you see
Mhm.
someone helping, it's us. Other religions use that, but JW would have a big sign on the back, maybe in the front, and I saw them helping, and helping is good.
Yeah, I
And
mean that's the biggest pros of a religion, I think. Most of the religions that I'm familiar with, they're really helpful. They do have their own purpose, but for the moment, for that time, they are genuinely helping people, which I think is a good thing about religion. But I can argue that it could be that people like helping people. It's not just under a banner. I'm sure you've helped many people and I've helped many people, but I don't want to put it under banners like atheist help people or any. It should be people helping people. But going back to your 20s, uh, what made you change? What was that button that got flicked and you decided to be an atheist?
uh, it maybe it feels like a button, but it felt more like a handle that you need like 10 years to
Okay, cool.
yeah. So of course, at one point when you end up having relationships like close ones, you get
Yeah.
in love, and
Mhm.
when you're a Jehovah Witness, you feel like there is so much resistance from like coming from yourself, coming from the Bible. There are so many rules that the Jehovah Witness are following. You actually can Google that 141 things that Jehovah Witness can do, and there are many that actually make your life really hard.
Oh, wow.
And that's one of the things that was kind of getting me into a duality of thinking. In a way, I asked myself, why is it bad? Is it really bad if I fall in love with a apostate girl? Like,
Mhm.
I'm not doing anything wrong. I want to be with her. I want to hear her. I want to talk with her. Is it like that bad?
Yeah.
The other side tells me it's really bad. That's a
Mm.
sin. You're not gonna end up in the afterlife, so you're
Yeah.
not gonna have it. One correction: Jehovah's don't believe like in afterlife per se. They believe they will be brought back to life on Earth after the
Okay.
Armageddon.
Oh, they believe in Armageddon, is it?
Yeah, yeah. I also
Okay.
believe like in 2012, I was waiting for one.
I wouldn't blame you because that 2012 thing was a major thing. I think most of the people that I know or talked about, they were thinking that the world's going to end in 2012. Um, Thankfully, it didn't happen. And,
Yeah,
you know, but talking about Armageddon, I know Muslims believe in Armageddon of some sort. They call it Qiyamah. That's the word that they use. Um, it's just, it sounds similar to those religions when you zoom out. When you're just in your little bubble of the religion, everything sounds like mine is better and it's for the good. If you have a false base for a logic, then you can connect everything together. For example, if I have a base that I have a friend named Joey who produced the world, who created India, and everything happens in India according to Joey, then I can add more things to it and I can just do whatever with that. Because once you have a supernatural belief, what is there to stop you from believing the afterlife, the reincarnation? By the way, I'm an ex-Hindu, so reincarnation is a big topic in Hinduism. Um, the idea of Hinduism is you want to break that cycle of reincarnation and get the moksha, which is somewhat like nirvana, and then you'll be with the God forever. But that's essentially what I've heard in Christianity as well. You want to be with the God in heaven. Um, yeah, it's just that. So, what thing in particular? I know it sounds like you had somebody that you fell in love with, if you don't mind me asking, and that she was from a different religion or she believed something different than what you believed, and then you started to think. Is that correct?
yeah, in a way. I would also want to share how I actually what was the last nail in the coffin of
Oh yeah,
my
sure.
belief. But getting back to the love aspect, I was kind of weird boyfriend back then. I was
Aren't
forcing
we all?
her. Yeah, I was kind of forcing her to believe in Jehovah, but I was not doing it in a very open way. I was not saying like you have to believe that. I
Mhm,
was using the words exactly how I was taught in Jehovah Witness Bible study. You never
mhm.
address the topic openly. You ask
Okay.
how would Jehovah would feel if you're gonna do that, you know, and it's sort of like manipulation. And I did it thinking I was doing right, so this is the first things that kind of made me feel I'm maybe not doing something right, especially when I was feeling not right. But actually what made me an atheist, it's a very surprisingly, it's a very different thing from skepticism or science, like
Oh yeah.
usually it's come from. Mine comes from screenwriting.
Oh
I
wow.
was I'm working as screenwriter for animation,
Mhm,
and one of the things when you learn how to create characters, you have to answer the question why whatever your character does, why he does it,
mhm,
what's motivating him, what's the lies he believes in, what's his actions actually speak about him. And
mhm,
one example I like really remember, I think it was in the Chinatown screenplay I was reading, and
mhm,
we have a character who is sitting on at the table and crying, and we
mhm,
have the main protagonist. He wants to cheer him up, and
mhm.
how I understand that, he opens his bar and takes one of the whiskeys.
Oh yeah.
Not sad, like he wants to cheer him up, but I understand that this
Mhm.
action tells me that. But one other thing, he takes the most cheapest whiskey he has.
Oh.
It tells us about he's very greedy.
Mm.
And I fell in love in this description. I was like, wow. And
So
I was,
you mean to say expensive whiskey or cheapest? Because
yeah,
I
he
thought
took cheapest.
cheapest, cool.
And he
So
was
he want to
greedy.
show that he's not greedy.
No, like I understood that he is greedy because he took the cheapest whiskey from his office bar and he was offering to a client.
Oh, I see.
And
I see.
yeah,
True.
and this was the great insight I had. I was like, I think I start to understand the narrative. I think I start to understand what actions or activities can say about a character. And funny thing, that made me question God. And
Mhm.
that was, I was feeling like my faith is going away like really fast. And my first like inertia or the idea how to save my beliefs is actually to take the Bible. And I was reading the Genesis, and I
Oh no.
was, yeah, and I was somewhere close to the flood, the story of Noah.
Mhm.
And there it hit me. Um,
Mm.
we have a God who has lots of angels. Those angels go to earth and they marry women.
Mhm.
We know that in the Bible it's okay to marry. It's bad to have children besides marriage.
Yeah.
But they marry. That's, I guess it's good.
Mm.
And we know from other passages that the third of his angels came to earth to do that. Okay, it
Mm.
means like it happens pretty often. And God didn't say a thing. He was okay with that until
Mhm.
the last one from that third
Mhm.
got to earth, made a baby. They all made babies, and the
Yeah.
Bible said every baby was evil. And
Mm.
therefore, God, with all his knowledge, all his powers, decided to kill every living, birds, animals, fish, plants,
Yeah.
and all humans except one family.
Mm.
And I had so many questions like, not only these actions speak about not like we are made to believe that he is all knowing, but it feels like I, as a imperfect human, I think I could erase their memories. I can make many things that would describe me as all loving, as a moral being, but he chose an
Yeah.
instrument that
Mm.
is worse. But other thing that bothered me, like, there was never stated that there exists a law where an angel can't marry a human.
Yeah.
Maybe
There's.
there is, and I'm wrong, but I didn't find it. And
Mhm.
it feels like he punished everything and everybody and every life on
Mhm.
earth
Yeah.
on a rule that was never stated. They even did not know what they did. They just died.
Yeah. That's, if you put it in those words, this is a bit traumatic. Um, yeah, that because I've read the story of Noah, or I've heard it from others, not reading per se from the proper Bible, because I haven't read the proper Bible, but you know how people put it on their blogs and stuff. Um, my question at that time was, if like there were two animals of each kind on the boat and all that, and I'm a mischievous person, I think. My thing was, did they put like toilets for everybody? And because there was this window and every like methane produced in the boat, it could literally blast.
Yeah.
And what about the food? How can you store all those food sources? Because you know elephants eat a lot, they drink a lot of water. And then there is like two spiders. Are they just gonna keep sitting there and not do anything? What about the lions and the deers and that's it. But the main thing for me was, which hit me, I think, was that since Noah had three children and then wives, so they're related. And then I'm sure where it's you know where it's going. But when their children are born and they have to populate the earth, it's there's no easy way to say it, but it's incest, right?
Yes, that's
And
insane.
yeah, and that just grossed me out. And I'm like, is it just me who can see that? Like, I know a lot of people believe in the beauty of God, but can they not see it? It
Well,
just blew my mind.
yeah. I love asking questions like that. And usually, when I have an opportunity to talk with Christian, I actually was always wondering why the Bible has so many incest stories. You have daughters getting their father drunk only because they could not find other men and they made babies with their drunk father. Or you have children of Adam and Eve
Hmm.
making the same. And their answer is usually very easy. Like they say, well, that's what God said, and He made it okay back then, but it's not okay right now.
Yeah,
Like, okay, how do you know that? Like, do you have a passage telling that?
yeah.
And the next question or answer is really simple as well. Like, but don't take it too literal. So
Yeah, I don't, even if I take it metaphorically, what am I supposed to take out of it? I just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you put your Jehovah's Witness hat again, what would you take out of it if you want to take it metaphorically?
what I like about metaphors, you can explain anything you want. Anything works. You just change the meaning. If I'm gonna put this hat again, and I would say the family doesn't mean like brother and sister. It can mean an organization. It can be a big group of people. We say family sometimes to foreigners, and actually, if you look in the Bible, and we see when God punished Cain, and he went into another city where there were other people. It means definitely there were other people, not only family members. So when they say about family, they mean people from their group, the
Okay.
one who believe God, not blood related. It's you taking it literally.
Cool. No, thanks for sharing that. The reason I asked you is pretty simple. This video, whenever it goes out, there's going to be people out there who's going to be really critical about how could you believe such a thing, you know. But what people don't do is they don't criticize themselves. And the reason I want you to explain it is because then you can tell, you can justify anything, even though you believe it's absolutely ridiculous. But on the other hand, if you want to justify something ridiculous, you can. Now, my question to the listeners would be, have you yourself criticized your religion yet? Because everybody, I think, is very skeptical of the religion that they are not part of, but they're not half as skeptical. Well, half is too much. They're not even 1% as skeptical with their own religion. And even the JW is helping on the border. There are other religions which help on the border, and which is great. But what's the thing behind it? You know, and in India, it's like four major religions, and there are a lot of sects. And it's interesting to me, whoever you talk to in India, or even I'm talking on Twitter, everybody has a slight different definition of God. And I'm like, and I used to have a different, thing as well. But I just want to know, how did you get this definition? Did your parents tell you that? you know, or
Yeah.
and everybody said you should. In India, there's like, or in Hinduism, I should say, there's a lot of books, like there's Vedas and Upanishads and all that, and they always say you should go and read them. And I'm like, I'm not going to waste my life reading something, too big. I'm genuinely interested in reading, sure I will, but I'm not a book reader. And my theory is, if you tell me something, and I'll try to ask you questions and see if you can answer those questions, because I will be listening, and I try to be a good listener. Um, but yeah, that doesn't work out, and it is so easy to make people angry.
Yeah, because religion is a really personal topic. Sometimes when you give a counter argument, it's like saying like everything you believe, everything you love, everything that gives you a moral foundation is flawed, and they take
Mhm.
it personally. It's something that makes them. It's like their essence. I'm not saying that every Christian thinks like that, but
Mhm.
many of them, they think like that. And I see a big difference between being that and thinking that. One thing that I would say that they can actually check in the Bible. I don't remember the verse, but in the
Yep.
New Testament, Paul was saying like, you have to question even myself and the Gospels and the organization, or not the organization, but the community of
Mhm.
first Christians. And he loved this challenge. He loved asking and answering questions. He believed that the Holy Spirit will help him answer, and that will guarantee that the people who believe, they know why they believe. And I think if the Bible tells that and encourages that, we should accept that. But in Jehovah Witness organization, you can't do that. You can't question the governing body. They are. It feels like they talk to about them like they are perfect. They can say that, yeah, we can question them, but it never feels like they question it. You can enter in the website and see the criticisms. You can look for criticism about them, and you're not gonna find it. It's gonna be only that you're an apostate, you're influenced by Satan. It's Satan speaking for you. They're not even giving arguments to back up all that. So I think this idea with Paul from the Bible will help any Christian to find this skeptic approach and really answer like, am I believing God only because parents told me? Or that's my decision, that's my view on God? So I think if every Christian is going to read the Bible like really open-minded, he'll learn a lot.
Yeah, it's a good literature. There's no denying that. Every book, I think, or any content that ever been created, I think you can always get good things out of it, no matter what it is. But then again, should you take everything literally, which religion teaches us? Or should you just pick up the nice bits, which most religious people do, by the way? But then they say the whole Bible is good as well, which is contradictory, but it seems like they don't see that. Um, what I'll do, I'll just recreate this meeting. We'll carry this conversation in part 2. I'll just send you a message in like 2 minutes. And thank you so much for talking with me, Oleg. I'll talk to you soon. And
Yeah, it was a pleasure for me too.
cool. Thanks, man. Cheers.
Cheers.